My name is Emma, and for 27 years, I thought I was just broken. Not in the dramatic way you see in movies, but in the quiet, exhausting way where you're constantly apologizing for being yourself. The day I finally understood why changed everything. Not because it fixed me, but because it helped me stop fighting against my own mind. I remember sitting in my car outside the grocery store, crying because I'd forgotten my list again. It sounds small, doesn't it? But it wasn't about the list. It was about the fact that I'd driven there 3 times that week, and each time I'd walked out with random items I didn't need and without the one thing I'd gone there for. People would say things like, just write it down, or set a reminder on your phone. And I did. I had 17 reminder apps, color-coded planners, sticky notes everywhere. My phone would buzz with alerts I'd somehow learned to completely ignore, even when I was staring right at them. At work, I was the person who had brilliant ideas in meetings but could never finish the follow-up report. I'd start strong, passionate, completely absorbed in a project, and then nothing. It would sit there, 80% done, while I moved on to something else that had captured my attention. My desk looked like a tornado of half-finished thoughts. My relationships suffered too. I'd forget plans with friends, not because I didn't care, but because the moment they told me about dinner on Friday, my brain had already moved on to 3 other things. I'd interrupt people mid-sentence, not to be rude, but because if I didn't say my thought right then, it would vanish like smoke. People thought I didn't listen. The truth is, I was listening to everything, all at once, all the time. The worst part wasn't the forgetting or the disorganization. It was the shame. The constant voice in my head saying, why can't you just be normal? Why is everyone else able to do this and you can't? I tried everything to fix myself. I read productivity books. I woke up at 5 a.m. to meditate. I made elaborate morning routines that would fall apart by day 3. Each failure felt like proof that I was lazy, unmotivated, incapable. My mom would say, "You're so smart, Emma. If you just applied yourself." And I was applying myself. I was applying myself so hard I was burning out by Tuesday every single week. The thing is, I was good at some things. Really good. When something interested me, I could hyper-focus for hours, forgetting to eat or check my phone. I could see patterns and connections others missed. I was creative, empathetic, quick thinking in a crisis. But those moments felt like flukes, random bursts of competence in an otherwise chaotic existence. I started to think maybe this was just who I was. The scattered one. The flaky friend. The person with so much potential, who never quite delivered. The turning point came in the most unexpected way. I was scrolling through social media late at night, procrastinating on sleep like I always did, and I came across a video. Someone was describing their experience with ADHD, and with each sentence, I felt this strange sensation in my chest. I feel like I'm living in a browser with 47 tabs open. I can't do things just because I need to do them. My brain needs to want to do them. People think I'm not listening, but I'm actually listening to everything. I sat there in the dark, tears streaming down my face, because for the first time in my life, someone was describing my experience. Not as character flaws. Not as laziness. But as symptoms. It took me 2 months to make an appointment. The shame was still there, whispering that I was making excuses, looking for a label, being dramatic. But something in me knew I needed to at least explore this. The evaluation process was thorough and honestly, a bit uncomfortable. I had to be very honest about my struggles, which meant admitting things I'd spent years minimizing or hiding. But when the psychologist explained ADHD to me, not as a deficit of attention but as a difference in how my brain regulates attention, something clicked. I wasn't broken. My brain was just wired differently. I want to be clear, there was no magical moment where everything suddenly got better. The journey of learning to work with my ADHD brain instead of against it has been gradual, messy, and ongoing. Working with my healthcare provider, I explored different approaches to managing my symptoms. For some people, medication is part of their treatment plan. For others, it's therapy, coaching, or lifestyle changes. For me, it ended up being a combination of things, and finding what worked took time and patience. I started seeing a therapist who specialized in ADHD. Together, we worked on something I hadn't expected: self-compassion. I'd spent so long being angry at myself that I'd never considered that maybe I deserved the same kindness I'd show a friend. We worked on strategies too, but the emotional work was just as important. I learned that my brain needs external structure because internal motivation alone isn't enough. I started using timers, not to pressure myself, but to help my brain understand time, which has always felt slippery to me. I discovered body doubling, working alongside someone else, which somehow made tasks feel more doable. I learned to work with my hyperfocus instead of fighting it. If I was deep into something, I'd let myself stay there when possible, because those moments of flow are gifts, not character flaws. I started being honest with people. Hey, I have ADHD, and I might interrupt you. I'm working on it, but if I do, please know I'm not trying to be rude. Most people were understanding. The ones who weren't? Well, that taught me something about who deserved my energy. Exercise became important. Not because I was trying to be healthy, but because I noticed that on days I moved my body, my brain felt quieter, more manageable. I still struggle. I still forget things. I still have days where I feel like I'm drowning in my own mind. But now I have tools. I have understanding. I have self-compassion. And honestly, that changes everything. Here's what I want you to know: I'm not cured. ADHD doesn't work like that. There are still hard days. Days where I'm late despite trying my hardest. Days where I can't seem to finish a single task. Days where the shame creeps back in. But there are also good days. Days where I remember that my ADHD brain isn't just a collection of deficits. It's also why I'm creative, why I think differently, why I can connect ideas in unexpected ways. It's why I'm empathetic, because I know what it's like to struggle invisibly. It's why I'm resilient, because I've been fighting my whole life without even knowing it. I'm learning to see my ADHD as a part of me, not the enemy. Some days I manage it well. Some days it manages me. And both of those experiences are okay. The relief I felt when I finally understood myself wasn't about suddenly becoming productive or organized. It was about finally being able to stop pretending, stop apologizing for being myself, and start building a life that works for my brain instead of against it. Before I go, I need to say something important. This is my story, my experience. What works for me might not work for you, and what didn't work for me might be exactly what you need. If anything I've shared resonates with you, please talk to a qualified healthcare professional. ADHD is complex, and proper evaluation and support are so important. Don't diagnose yourself based on a YouTube video, even mine. Get the professional help you deserve. There are psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, and coaches who specialize in ADHD and can provide personalized guidance for your unique situation. Thank you for listening to my story. If you made it this far, it probably means something in here resonated with you, and I'm grateful you trusted me with your time. If this helped you in any way, I'd love for you to subscribe. I'm planning to share more stories about different health experiences, all told in this same personal, honest way. And please, if you feel comfortable, share your own experience in the comments. What's your story? What helps you cope? What do you wish people understood? This space is for all of us, and your voice matters. Remember, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not too much or not enough. You're human, doing your best with the brain you have. And that's more than enough. Take care of yourself. This is Emma, and this was my story.